All right. So again, thank you all for coming to the practice. This is Tuesday. It won't be too tough today. So find that comfortable seat or lie down if you choose. And everyone take a deep breath in and let it go. And another deep breath. And sigh it out. So settling in, and if you're seated with the shoulders over the hips, but the face is soft and jaws released, shoulders relaxed, just noticing the connection with the chair or the mat. Noticing the breath and the flow of the breath. Eyes are closed, or you found that spot and soft focus the eyes. And if the breath is just easy here, focus on breathing into the lower lungs, just into the belly. And now let the breath deepen, bringing the inhale to the lower lungs and then the middle chest, and then into the upper chest. And you don't need to fill up all the way. Just notice the capacity of the lungs. Now, as you're doing this deeper breathing, you can take your thumb and your index finger and put it at the very top of the throat, under the back of the chin. On either side, so your fingers are a couple inches, 2 inches apart above the Adam's apple. And as you breathe that Ujjayi breath, you feel the throat tighten just a little bit, way up there at the back of the throat. Good, all right. So take another deep breath in, fill the lungs completely this time, expanding front to back and side to side. And exhale. Yes, all right. So I'm moving back to the mat. So come up tall here and draw the shoulders back. Bring the chin in just a little bit. And now we're going to try and lift the heart a little bit higher without moving the belly toward the top of the mat. So keeping the shoulders back, and you can rest a hand up on the upper chest. And as you breathe deeply, feel the upper chest lift without pressing the belly forward. Couple of breaths with this. Good, all right, and release. And a lot of times what people will do when we say, okay, lift the heart, they'll press the belly forward and really cock the hips, rotate those hips forward, and it strains the low back. It's not where we want to be. We want to be able to breathe deeply, and we want the chest and heart lifted with the natural curve of the spine. So as you inhale here, bring the arms out wide, let the shoulders release down, spread the fingers wide, and then turn the palms toward the top of the mat. And as you inhale, next inhale, bring the arms and hands back, fingers point behind. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the knees and the chin toward the chest. Release here. Inhaling, the arms wide, opening, take up space. And exhale, and releasing the chin toward the chest. Inhaling, coming wide and open. And exhaling, hands to knees and chin to chest. And then lift up into that upright seat, drawing the shoulders back. Inhale here and take the gaze over the right shoulder as you exhale. Let the chin drop toward the shoulder. And bring the head up into center and take the gaze to the left shoulder, over the left shoulder. The chin drops without crunching the side of the neck. Inhaling up into center. And now just let the chin drop toward the chest. Again, up and out. And inhale up. And take the gaze up toward the ceiling, drawing the shoulders back. Bring the elbows toward the back of the mat. And inhale up. Good. Let the chin drop toward the chest. And then take the chin over to the right. And then bring it to center and left. And center and right. And center and left. And the chin to the center, inhaling, lifting back to that upright seat. And take a breath. Bring the left hand across to the outside of the right thigh. Bring the right hand behind. Get tall. And think in terms of the twist starting at the hips. So the hips turn slightly. That right hip moves back as the left hip moves forward. And then the chest turns and shoulders. And finally, the head turns as you exhale. Inhaling, come to the front. And the right hand across, left hand behind. Again, the hips move, shoulders move, and the head moves. And inhaling back to the front. And one more time, we'll do that twist to the right. And as you're moving to the right or twisting to the right, extend your right arm. Gazing back toward the back of the mat. Inhaling, come to center. And that twist now to the left, spiraling in. And exhaling, back to center. Ah, good. Yes. Bring the right arm out in front. Again, the fingers spread wide, lifting tall, but the shoulders are released down. And now lift that right hand up to the ceiling, reaching with the fingers, and turn the palm toward the top of the mat, front of the mat, and then draw that arm and hand back and up. Again, the gaze follows the hand, but don't strain the neck. So relax the neck here and the face. And then bring the right hand back to the ceiling. Draw it in as you reach it high. And then bring the left hand out and arc over to the left. Keeping the right shoulder back. And then turn the gaze down toward the left hand on the floor. Again, keeping the right shoulder back. And the gaze back to the ceiling. And the right hand back up. Again, reaching. And exhale, release. Good, all right. And now bring out the left arm. And as you inhale, the left hand lifts, strong through the arm. And turn the palm toward the top of the mat and draw the left hand back and up. And that hand's back to the ceiling, and reaching. Bring out the right hand, arc to your right. Turn the gaze down toward the right hand on the floor. Draw the left shoulder back, still reaching up and out. And now the gaze comes back to the ceiling. And the left hand lifts back up. Again, strong as you draw that arm down into the shoulder, but reaching up high. And exhale, release. Yeah, good. So let's do some shoulder rolls, kind of take the tension out of those shoulders because we're working those shoulders hard. So bring the shoulders up to the ears and then take the shoulders forward and down. Draw them back and up and forward and down. Inhaling the shoulders back and lifting and forward and down. Inhaling up. And one more time. And the shoulders come to the back. Go the other way with those rotations. Forward and lift the shoulders. Exhaling the shoulders back and down. And forward and up. And back and down. Inhaling, the shoulders lift. Last one here, exhaling down. And as you inhale, bring those shoulders to the back. Draw the shoulders down, bring the shoulder blades toward the center of the back. Move the head gently. Smile. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just holding the shoulders back. Again, pressing the heart forward, not the belly. And exhale, release. Bring the hands behind, interlock the fingers. Press the thumbs into the sacrum, squeeze the hands together. And then draw the elbows toward the center. And you'll feel some rumbling and grumbling going on in the ribs, which is what this is all about, right? Move the head, keep the neck released. Now straighten the arms and lift the hands away from the body toward the back of the mat. Strong through the arms, squeezing the hands. And release. Yeah, good. So just gently move the shoulders, and you can bicycle them, one forward, the other back, and then the other way. Good. Let's do just some gentle cat-cow, seated cat-cows here. So with the hands cupping the knees, fingers cupping the kneecaps, as you inhale, lift up tall and draw the shoulders back and lift the gaze to the ceiling. Again, moving the heart forward, not necessarily so much the belly, and then exhaling, bring the chin to the chest and round back. And now release as you round back. Inhaling, lift up tall. The arms really don't change position. Elbows don't bend. As you do this, hands just resting on the kneecaps, exhaling, rounding back. Release the shoulders. Inhaling, bring the shoulders back, lift the heart, take the gaze up to the ceiling. And exhaling, chin to chest. And one more. Deep, long, slow inhale. As the chest lifts, the shoulders move back, gaze lifts. And exhaling, chin to chest. And release. And lifting up to that upright seat. So when we do cat-cow, we're really trying to not create a lot of bend in the lower spine. The movement really comes from the middle of the back and the upper back. So come over onto all fours. And we'll do some circles here. So as you exhale, take the hips out to the right and then let the hips move back toward the heels. Knees are a little bit wide, head dips toward the mat. And as you inhale, take the body to the left, coming up and forward, finding that little stretch in the wrists and exhaling to the right and back. Release the head toward the mat. Inhaling, coming to the left and forward, exhaling to the right and back. Yeah, just let this movement feel good. And the next time you're back toward the heels, take those rotations the other way to the right, bringing the body forward, and then exhaling to the left and back. Head drops. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. One more big circle. And let the hips just come back toward the heels and let the head release. Bring the elbows down to the mat. Fingers spread wide though. And then let the head release down toward the mat. And if you have a block, if your head doesn't get down to the mat, find a block and rest your head on a block. Good, all right. So lift the head, remove the block if you had it, and then reach those fingers way up there toward the top of the mat. And let the head go. Let the head just hang. But keep the neck relaxed, faces soft as you reach. Elbows are lifted here, arms are strong. You feel the fingertips and the palms of the hands on the mat. And feel the length, feel that stretch all the way from the fingertips back to the tailbone. Down the arms and shoulders, through the ribs. And breathe. As you inhale, lift up here, bringing the shoulder blades onto the back, coming forward into knee plank. Elbows in toward the body. Breathe. And you can shift those knees in a little bit if you choose. Strong through the arms. One more deep breath. And now exhale and bring the hips back toward the heels. Again, feeling the hands on the mat. Let the head release. Elbows lifted. Inhaling, let's do that one more time, coming up and forward. And you have the option here of curling the toes and coming to full plank. Two more deep breaths. And if the knees are off the mat, bring the knees down. Exhaling, bring the hips back toward the heels. Now bring the arms in, cross the arms, rest the head on the arms. Extend those arms back out toward the top of the mat. Inhaling, come up and forward. We're back in our knee plank. And then curl the toes under. And step the right foot up halfway up the mat. We're coming into side plank. So come on to the outside edge of the left foot and then open the right arm to the ceiling. Toes pointed away, those right toes. And bring the right hand down. Step the left foot back. Bring the knees down and take the hips back toward the heels. Arms come in into your resting pose. Good. Stretching the arms forward again. Coming forward and up. Come into that plank. Or step the foot up first, but I think it's easier to step the foot up if I'm in full plank. Step the left foot up, point the toes out, and then side plank, opening to the left. One more breath. Exhale, bring the left hand down, step that left foot back, bring the knees down a little wide, exhaling back, and bring the arms in, resting the head on the arms. Good. Come up into table. Bring the knees back in under the hips. And now bring the elbows down to the mat. And one way to make sure you got your elbows spaced properly for Dolphin is to actually grasp the elbows with the hands and then bring the hands toward the top of the mat, fingers spread wide. So the elbows are as wide as the shoulders. And you've got the knees or the hips over the knees, or the knees under the hips, I guess you could say, and the elbows under the shoulders. And then just curl the toes and gently lift into Dolphin. And breathe. You can work one heel and then the other toward the back of the mat. Now take the right foot and lift it up toward the ceiling. Flexing the right foot, pressing back through the right heel, up and back. Now bring the right foot down and lift the left foot. Strong through the lifted leg, pressing up and back. And now bring the left foot down. Take one more deep breath with knees bent, pressing the heart back toward the knees. And exhale the knees down. And then bring the hips back toward the heels. Rest the hips on a block if that works for you. Come into hero. And breathe. Ah, yes. Okay. And coming forward, curl the toes under. You don't need to stay here long, or you don't need to stay here at all. And then come into toe torture. Haven't done this one in a while. Just breathe. And if you want, you can take the arms wide, bring the right arm under the left, come into eagle arms. And then wide. And left arm under right, eagle arms. Lifting the elbows. And inhale it open. And come back out of that and tap your toes. Good, all right. So we're back on our table. And now bring the right foot to the top of the mat. Coming into our low lunge. Let the belly settle down toward the mat. Lifting the gaze up on the fingertips, and the fingertips are back even with the heel of the right foot. And your next inhale, bring the hands to the right knee. Staying tall with the shoulders back. And stay low here. Don't let the hips lift. As you lift the heart, the hips stay low. And now into crescent lunge as the hands lift. And excuse me, bring the hands in prayer to the heart and bring the left elbow across for prayer twist to the right. Release the shoulders toward the hips. And that right elbow is lifted. And bring the hands to center. And down to the mat, our low lunge. Again, let the hips release. Gaze lifts. And as you exhale, bring the hips back, pressing the toes down into the mat with a long spine here and a little bend in that right knee. And now as you, well, let's flex that foot, keeping that bend in the knee. A little bit different sensation here in the back of the right leg. Toes pointed up toward the ceiling. And then coming back forward into low lunge. Again, the gaze lifts, hips settle. Curl the toes, coming into high lunge. Keeping the hips low again. Now the gaze is straight down toward the end of the mat, and you're feeling length from the top of the head to the heel of the left foot. Keep the shoulder blades on the back so we're not hunched. And bring that left knee down and bring the right foot back beside the left. And the hips back toward the heels into your resting pose. Coming back into table, now it's the left foot comes to the top of the mat. Getting it up there. Finding your low lunge. Again, onto spider fingers. And as the hips settle and that left knee moves a little bit toward the top of the mat, the gaze lifts straight ahead or even maybe a little bit up toward the ceiling. Breathe into the hips to release. And if you need blocks here to get the hips lower than the shoulders, that's what you do. You're working to get the hips lower than the shoulders. And if you need to be lifted a little more for that, then blocks or books or something will help. So good. Inhaling, hands come to the knee, shoulders draw back, hips stay low. And now bring the hands up to the ceiling, crescent lunge. Hands in prayer to the heart. And the right elbow across, prayer twist. And the hands to the front. Bring the hands down to the mat. Again, release the hips as the gaze lifts. Shoulder blades onto the back. And exhaling, straighten that front leg, pressing those left toes into the mat. Working on keeping the spine long here. And flex the left foot. Point those toes to the ceiling. And now come back forward into the low lunge. Now curl the toes into high lunge. Now get long. Take up as much space as you can here. And bring the back knee down. And bring the left foot back, knee back beside the right. And come down to your resting pose. Come up into table. Curl the toes into downward dog. Good, all right. So now down dog feels pretty good. Hold one heel and the other toward the mat. And bend those knees almost all the way down to the mat, pressing hips back. Your butt's almost down to the heels. And then press with the feet, lifting the hips up toward the ceiling, heels toward the mat. Exhaling, bend those knees all the way down, almost to the mat. Inhaling, lifting the hips up toward the ceiling, heels toward the mat. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. One more time. Exhale the knees down toward the mat. Inhale, press and lift the hips to the ceiling. Ah, yes. Now walk the feet toward the hands. Turn those heels out just slightly. Inhale into half lift. Exhale into forward fold. Head releases. Lift the head, get long through the spine, bend the knees, arms wide, press into the mat and come up. Lifting the hands to the ceiling. Exhale, mountain pose. Whew, yeah, good job. All right. Yoga flop. So let's do our spinal flow. After that hard work, we'll do some opening here. So from mountain pose, and think in terms of bending those knees a little bit and then pressing down through the feet. And actually press down a little more through the inside edges of the feet. Feel the kneecaps lift. Feel the quads become active. And then lift up tall. And we're lifting the chest without rolling the hips forward. So roll the hips under just a little bit rather than pooching the butt out. And lift the heart. Shoulders back, hands become active, and arms. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the right arm down, arc right. Inhaling the right hand up. Exhaling, arc left. Inhaling up. Exhaling, palms to the sky as you twist to the right. Inhaling up. And exhale, that twist to the left. And inhale up. And bring the hands through the heart, hinging with a long spine. Bend those knees into forward fold. Release the head and press the hips to the ceiling as the head releases toward the mat. Bend those knees, inhale, press into the mat with the feet coming up. Exhaling the hands back. Inhaling up, gaze goes straight ahead. Exhaling the hands down. Ah, yeah, really good. So do the fingers, roll the wrists, wiggle the toes. So lift all those toes off the mat. And you can gaze down there. And then bring the pinky toe down. And then the second toe from the outside and the third toe. And then the second toe from the front, from the middle. So anything's lifted now is the big toe, both of them. Breathe. And then bring both big toes down and pick up the mat with the toes. Yeah, good. All right. Step back with that right foot. And we're working those hamstrings today. Turn the chest toward the top of the mat. And the hip bones are parallel to the short edge, the front of the mat. Bring the hands behind, interlock the fingers, and press the hands down toward the mat. Exhale and fold into head to knee. Squeeze those upper arms into the sides of the back. As the head releases, the hands lift with a little bend in that left knee. And breathe. And now lifting, getting long through the spine, pressing back through the hands, coming up. Press the hands down toward the mat, lift the gaze toward the ceiling. Press the right hip toward the top of the mat. Yeah. And coming up. Good. Release the hands, step the right foot up, and step the left foot back. Not back so far that you can't square those hip bones or get those two pointed points of the hips parallel to the front of the mat. Interlock the fingers. Arms go strong. Exhale and fold. Releasing the head toward the foot, the right foot, and lifting the hands to the ceiling. And inhaling, lengthen, pressing back through the hands. And now lifting the heart, gaze lifts. Gazing to the ceiling, left hip forward. And inhaling up, release. Ooh, yeah, step forward with the left foot. And you can step it out, yoga flop. So from the top of the mat, again, building that mountain, pressing down with the inside of both feet. Lifting tall, heart lifts, shoulders draw back. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, reaching wide, hinge into the forward fold. Let the head go. Just shake the head yes and no here. Feel the belly touching the upper thighs as the knees are really bent. These fingertips are on a block or down on the mat. And if they're not down to the mat, just bend the knees enough to get them down there. Work the heels. Breathe. And pressing in with the front of the feet, pressing into the mat with the front of the feet, just think about straightening both legs as the hips lift. Let the crown of the head move down toward the mat as the legs straighten and the hips lift. Good, all right. Inhale, come to half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step both feet back. So we're in our full plank. We don't have to be. We can be in our knee plank. Breathe. One more breath. And now exhale on down onto your belly. Good, all right. Release those toes. The chin or the forehead is on the mat. And then bring the hands behind, interlock the fingers, and then press the heels of the hands together. Again, the arms now become strong. And as you inhale, lift the head and the upper chest, lift both feet, and then press those hands and fingers toward the feet. Point the feet, flex the toes. So you're pressing back through the balls of both feet. Now breathe. One more deep breath. And exhale, release the hands. Take the right side of the face to the mat, the shoulders down to the mat, heels go wide. Just let it all go. And the left side of the face. Bring the hands under the shoulders and just lift up to knee plank and into tabletop. Move here. Some gentle cat-cows, wag your tail. And bring the feet around to the front. So we'll skip boat today. Bring the hands behind the knees and come down to your back. Good, all right. And then feet are all the way into the hips. And bring the knees now into the chest and just hug the knees in. And the knees are about shoulder width here. So you're getting just a little sensation, maybe a lot of sensation, depending on how far in you got those knees. Good, take the feet straight up to the ceiling. Flex those toes and those feet. And then lift the hands and arms up toward the ceiling. And now lift the head and the shoulders off the floor, off the mat, and reach toward your toes. Legs are strong and straight, fingers spread wide, and you're seeing if you can reach those big toes with your fingertips and breathe. One more deep breath. Good. Release the shoulders, the hands and arms, bend the knees, come into reclining cobbler with the soles of the feet together, knees wide, and breathe, palms up. Good. Bring the knees up toward the ceiling. And you can leave that left foot on the mat, or you can extend the left leg, bring the right knee into the chest. Circle the right toes. Take that right knee over to the right and up toward the right shoulder. And bring the right foot down, extending the right leg, or leave the right foot on the floor. Bring the left knee into the chest. Squeeze it in, rotate those toes. You'd think all the pops would be gone, but I just had a big pop in my left ankle. And then take that knee over to the left, toward the left shoulder. Ah, yes. And bring the left foot down. Bring both knees into the chest. Gently rock. Bring both feet down to the mat. Arms wide. Feet all the way in. And we'll do just a breath or two in figure 4. So bring the left ankle onto the right knee and figure 4. Remember that you need that left foot flexed, and you take that foot and that knee a little to the right. And bring the right foot down, release, and right ankle on left knee, figure 4. And bring the left foot down, release the ankle. Arms wide, feet all the way in, and hip width, mat width, together, whatever feels good for you. Let the knees go to the right, turn your gaze to the left, and just release. Knees to the ceiling, knees to the left, and turn the gaze right. And knees back to the ceiling. Feet long or legs long, arms behind. Exhale. And on a long, slow inhale, stretch, reach, legs active, pressing out through the balls and the heels of both feet, fingers spread wide, reaching, inhaling. And exhale into your Savasana. Feel the hips release. Feel the shoulders relax. Jaw is released. Yeah, wiggle the fingers, the toes, bend the knees and elbows. Stretch. And when you're ready, you can roll it to one side, gently coming up. And so thank you. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. And I'll turn the recorder off.